Hello, I'm Chris. In this video, I'm going to show you how to drive forward into a bay and then reverse out. This is a manoeuvre that you might be asked to perform on your driving test. Keeping it as simple as possible, I'm going to demonstrate the easiest way to do it. In a previous video, we had a look at the safest and recommended way of bay parking, which is to reverse into a bay. It's safer as you can see what's in the bay you're reversing into, and you'll also be able to observe easier when driving forward out of it. But there are times when driving forward into a bay and then reversing out might be more convenient, so let's have a look at how it's done. If the examiner on your driving test wants you to drive forward into a bay, they'll direct you to a local car park. When driving into the car park, look out for any pedestrians, cyclists or other drivers. If it's a car park near a park, also look out for dogs on the loose. Are there any one-way signs or markings? Maybe even a lower speed limit. The examiner will then say, "I'd like you to drive forward into a convenient parking bay, finishing within the lines, either to the left or to the right, if the car park allows it." The examiner won't tell you which bay to use, and you don't have to choose a bay next to another vehicle. But look out for bays that you might not be allowed to park in though. Electric vehicles? They'll never take off. Bay for motorcycles? If you choose to drive into a bay on the right, you can make it easier by keeping to the far left. But check your mirrors first to make sure it's safe before moving over, and don't drive through the other bays or this blue footpath. This position will make it easier as you'll have more room to steer in and straighten up. Before turning into the bay, check mirrors for anyone going around you, blind spot, signal, and then turn full lock to the right when the first line of the bay you want to go in disappears into the car here. This reference point might be slightly different for you as it does vary depending on your height and what car you're driving, but it will be something similar. Drive slowly, but steer quickly full lock, maximum to the right. Once you're in the bay and nearly straight, start to straighten your steering back to the left. To make sure your car is straight in the bay, your dashboard should be in line with something in front of you like this wall. Then stop once this line goes just under your mirror. Be careful not to drive into the bay in front of you if there is one. Then apply the parking brake and select neutral. If you're unsure that you've parked within the lines of the bay, then you can open your car door if it's safe to check. Later on in the video, I'll demonstrate what to do if you're not in the bay and how to sort it out. At this point, the examiner will say, "Now, I'd like you to reverse out either to the left or the right, if the car park allows it." Firstly, prepare the car to reverse. Observe all around, including the rear window, looking out for any other vehicles, motorcyclists, cyclists, or pedestrians, especially children as they're more difficult to see, or other hazards such as shopping trolleys, or these hard to see bollards. Once it's safe, looking out of the rear window, reverse slowly, also checking your mirrors, observing all around for others. If anyone approaches you, stop and see what they're doing. If they stop and it's safe, then continue. Because this car park has a one-way system that I saw marked earlier, I need the back of the car to turn to the right. I don't want to cut through the other bays, so I'll reverse in a straight line first and then turn. This is especially important if there's vehicles next to you, as you don't want the front of your car to swing into them. A good reference if there are vehicles next to you is to start steering slowly at first to the right if you want the back of the car to go right, when the back of the other vehicle is in line with the mirror. It's the same reference if there's a vehicle on the left too. Make sure you've cleared the other vehicles at the front if there are any, and then steer full lock to the right. Look behind over your left shoulder and over your right shoulder for others, and stop before reversing into the bays behind. I'll steer a little left before stopping as it will get my wheels ready for when I drive forward. Now select first gear, observe for others, especially for anyone going around you. Don't forget to check the blind spot over your right shoulder and drive on when it's safe. That's how you drive forward into a bay on the right. If it's available in the car park, you can also drive forward into a bay on the left. Some car parks only have bays on the left, and some only have them on the right, so make sure that you practice both sides. Forward bay parking to the left is similar to how we did it to the right, but this time, to make it easier to turn into the bay on the left, move away over to the right first to create space to drive in and straighten. Before moving over to the right, look ahead to make sure that there isn't any oncoming, then check your mirrors to the right and your blind spot to the right for anyone going around you, and then steer over to the right if it's safe. Then check the mirrors to the left, blind spot and signal left. The reference point for turning is the same as earlier, just on the other side. Don't forget though that all reference points shown today might look slightly different for you, as everyone's different heights and it varies from car to car, but they will be similar. Your instructor will help you find a good reference. Drive slowly and turn quickly full lock to the left. Once in the bay, straighten the steering and stop at the same reference as earlier. As before, the examiner will now ask you to reverse, either to the left or the right, depending on if there's a one-way system. Observe all around, including the rear window before and as you reverse for other people using the car park. Once you've reversed, observe all around again, including the blind spot on your left, and move off when it's safe. The reference points I showed earlier also work for me if driving forward in between vehicles, but be careful as you don't want the front or the rear of your car to touch the other vehicles. So make sure that before you try this, that your reference point for turning is a good one. Be really careful when reversing. It's a lot harder to see with the other vehicles blocking your view. Keep observing for pedestrians, cyclists and other vehicles. Look through the rear window and all around. Looking through the windows of the other vehicles next to you can also help you see others. Make sure that you don't steer too early, as the front of your car will swing round and you don't want it to hit the other vehicles. As I mentioned earlier, a good reference when to start slowly steering is when the front or back of the other vehicle is in line with your side mirror. Bear in mind that this reference might be different for you depending on what car you're driving, your height and seat position. Before moving off, observe all around, including the blind spot on the right. Let's have a look at how to correct the manoeuvre if it's gone a bit wrong. You are allowed to open your car door if you're unsure how well you've parked, but make sure that you've applied the parking brake, selected neutral, and it's safe first. I've turned into this bay too late, and I'm over the white line. I haven't failed my test though because I can correct it. I need to observe all around first, and check there's no one behind out of the rear window. At the moment, the car is too much over the line to the right, so I need to reverse slowly to the left a bit to make the back of the car move left. Now steer right to get the front round. I look lined up with the bay ahead. Now I'll straighten the steering and stop before going into the bays behind. Check all around, still safe, and drive forward into the bay. Slight adjustments to get it perfect, and finish within the lines. This time I've turned too early, and I can see too much space between the car and this white line. I'll have to reverse once I've observed all around and it's safe to correct it. This time I want the back of the car to go to the right, to get closer to the white line on my right. Now steer left to get the front round, and straighten the steering once I look lined up with the bay ahead. Safety is very important, so I'll observe all around. It's safe, driving forward slowly, little adjustments to get it perfect, and finish within the white lines. Well, that's the end of the video. Really hope it helps. If it has, then please subscribe as it helps us to make more videos. As always, it's highly recommended that you take driving lessons with a qualified instructor. If you've got your driving test coming up soon, then good luck and try not to worry about it. Thanks a lot for watching, keep safe on the road, and see you on the next video.